Joining me now to talk about the politics behind America's war against ISIS is House Republican Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, who voted in favor of the president's plan to arm and train those so-called moderate Syrian rebels. Congresswoman, thank you so much for taking the time to speak with me. I just want to read back something that I want to quote from you, an interview that you gave to Nashville Public Radio, in which you said, what we would rather see him do is be more aggressive and more forthright and go after this more full force and not go at it halfway. But you stopped short in that same interview of suggesting that there should be U.S. ground troops. So I don't know that I understand what exactly is more forceful than the position the president's taken and what the president and the coalition is doing. Can you explain?
Absolutely. And one of the things that we do know from listening to command teams, listening to some of the current generals, is actually I think they're leading the president to take a more aggressive position in fighting, defeating, destroying, and in my words, annihilating ISIS and ISIL and any of these terrorist organizations that have sprung up out of Al-Qaeda. Now, it would be inappropriate for us to predetermine or to say to the generals and the command team on the field, this is exactly how you're going to do it. What we need to be doing is hearing from them as they begin to make their plans, as they begin to say, this is how we're best going to do this in the most efficient, effective manner.
I hear you, but I'm not sure I understand.
Yeah.
Sure, I just don't understand what you're saying, though. What's more aggressive than 47 Tomahawk cruise missiles, 4 dozen aircraft, 200 pieces of ordnance, about 150 weapons with precision-guided munitions, all of that just in 2 days? What's your opinion? You're saying it. You're saying the president needs to use more force and be more forceful and more aggressive. Using what?
Well, let's start with defining the coalition. We're yet to know who is a part of this coalition. We are yet to know what is going to transpire over this period of time. How long does he expect the airstrikes to continue? What is the expectation there of our military? Is he willing to back off of the sequester that has been on the military? And is he willing to stop this drawdown of the end strength? How are our military men and women going to be sent forth? You know, I've got a major military post in my district, and whether it's the 101st Airborne at Fort Campbell or the 5th Division or the 160th Special Forces, what they don't know yet is what would be the mission that they're expected to accomplish and what would be the rules of engagement. Is there going to be a status of forces agreement with Iraq? The president is the leader of the free world, and we need him to speak in that manner and to be able to articulate what is going to a pathway. The details and the specs of that are going to be laid out by the generals.
Well, when you say that you don't know who this When you say you don't know who this coalition is, I'm not sure I understand that issue either. Well, we've had 5 Arab nations all going on the record saying they flew alongside American missions, whether they dropped or supported. They're on the record. This isn't guesswork. This isn't sources say. This is, we did this. So what do you mean we don't know who the coalition is?
We do not know who else is in the coalition.
It's on the map right in front of us right now.
Well, and yes, as those came in and flew those missions, yes, we know that they were participating there. We don't know who this broad coalition that is being built out, who is a part of that. And that has not been defined for us at this point in time. That is something I think that many of our allies are waiting to hear.
Ms. Blackburn, do you want to see boots on the ground? Do you want to see? I want you on the record, because I know that you know, unfortunately Congress can't go on the record actually in Washington right now. You are all off in preparation for the upcoming midterms. But go on the record here, if you would, please. If the airstrikes in the campaign that you're seeing right now isn't aggressive enough, in your words, do you want to see American boots on the ground? Is that the aggression you're looking for?
I want us to annihilate all of these terrorist organizations.
Yeah, we all want that, but how do you want that to happen?
We're going to follow what our command team, the ones that are in the field, that are
And the question
working,
is, do you want American boots on the ground in Syria?
We are going to see what they tell us.
No,
We
no,
have
I'm
given
asking
them
you.
this
You've
first
asked for more
authorization.
aggression than the current
Ashley,
airstrikes. I'm asking you, do you want to? This is
Ashley,
a very
it is-
simple question
it is
for a congresswoman
No.
to answer. American forces with boots
ma'am.
on the ground
I want
in
you
Iraq
to
and
listen
Syria.
to yourself, Ashley.
It's a question.
You do not need 435 people playing commander-in-chief. What you need is members of Congress supporting the command team and the president making the decisions that are going to annihilate and
So I can't get you
rid of these
to. I can't get you
terrorist
to agree
organizations.
one way or the other whether that's a good idea.
Because I'm going to support my commanders that are in the field.
All right, Congresswoman Marsha Blackburn, thanks so much for your time. Do appreciate it.
Thank you.